Facebook page. Okay, so now I'm unmuted, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay, so let's get started on today's topic. I know a lot of you are super excited to hear about this today. And oops, let's see what is up. Can you guys hear me, or do you have a feedback? Let me know, because I can hear feedback on my end. And I'm going to make sure. Let me get this fixed here. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Okay, you guys are jumping in. I will. Um, okay, so you guys are jumping in. You can hear me. Okay, good. For some reason, I have feedback. Okay, there we go. Okay, I hate when it starts off rough, but you guys are jumping in, so you won't miss the beginning. I'm super excited about that. Okay, so let's get going. Most asked question I get from women going through menopause is, how do I get rid of belly fat or just body fat in general? And I talk a lot about draining the tanks, right? And so if you're a regular here on YouTube or Facebook, you know we talk about draining the tanks all the time, but I'm going to break it down for all of our new members of our community here today and give you guys a refresher if maybe you're feeling like you're hitting a plateau, which is a lot of complaints we get from women also going through menopause, or you're just feeling a little frustrated or stuck. So we're going to break it down to the basics and review a lot here today. Again, welcome if you're new. My name is Diane Parham. I'm the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. Here is where we break down things very simply in everyday terms and concepts so that you can immediately implement what I teach here and reap the benefits. We also run a monthly course. Our next one starts the first Saturday of November. I believe it's the 6th of November. And I take you through this process so that you can understand while practicing how to drain the tank so you don't have to worry about a lot of these things that a lot of women going through menopause are suffering from. So, welcome. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you're following on Facebook, all of those things, and share this with your girlfriends. No woman should be suffering through menopause. So if you feel like your girlfriends and you, when you get together, this is all you talk about, make sure you share this video with them so that you guys can all be on the same page and help each other as well. Okay, so getting rid of belly fat is basically just draining the tanks. If you have an area of your body or your body in general that is hoarding fat, that just means that we have a storage and utilization issue, right? So that means that our body's really good at storing, and we haven't yet created the opportunity to be able to trap or to go into what's trapped in that storage tank and utilize that for energy. So the storage and there's energy, right? Hormones are running the show of whether you're storing or you're utilizing. The primary hormones that we need to understand are insulin, leptin. These two are the storage hormones. Estrogen, which changes as we go through menopause, and then ghrelin, which is what makes us mentally, emotionally, and physically uncomfortable when we are putting ourselves in the opportunity to actually get those tanks drained out, right? This is where we feel hungry. This is where we store. This is where the change is happening. A lot of women don't understand that estrogen and insulin are directly related to one another. When one goes down, the other goes up, and vice versa. This is why so many women are struggling with things like PCOS, infertility, body fat issues, right? It's all estrogen and insulin related. I was one of those women as well. If we get our insulin balanced out, then things start to change with estrogen as well. The one area that's different with women in menopause is that estrogen just drops off naturally because of the season of life that we're in. So I want to take a moment here and just talk about this concept, which gets thrown out there to so many women. When women are complaining about their belly fat discomfort or dislike, one of the big quick fixes that's thrown out there is HRT, so hormone replacement therapy, right? Because women do find relief with that. But hormone replacement therapy to fix something like belly fat or menopausal signs and symptoms is the same concept that is used when you use insulin to fix diabetes, right? Or I guess what I should say, control diabetes. So insulin, taking it in, will not cure diabetes, it keeps it at bay. The same thing holds true with putting more hormones into your body to fix something like belly fat, right? So let's talk about some alternatives that we can use so we're not just keeping a problem at bay, but we can actually reverse it and then reap some other benefits as well. So draining the tanks. So the tanks that we need to consider draining are caused from insulin, right? So when insulin is high, your tanks, aka the cells in your body that store and utilize what we put into it, are so jam packed that they cannot tap into what it is you really want to happen, which is fat utilization. So there's this overabundance of sugar energy that's in your system. Your cells aren't able to do their work because they're so compacted with what we have in storage over the years that we can't really get through the glycogen that we have in our system, right? Or the process of what happens when we take in new energy. It's converted and stored as glycogen, stored in our liver, stored in our muscles primarily, right? So this backup is what's creating this excess fat in our body. When insulin is high, we're in a storage mode. When insulin is low, or we create a scenario where we don't create new insulin responses, then we can tap into utilization, right? Because if this is where we store when it's high, then this is where we can utilize when it's low. Now, to get to the actual problem area, we know we cannot spot train, right? So we know we can't say, well, I'm going to do XYZ and I want my belly fat to go away. Our body has its own intelligence system, and your body is going to create the hierarchy in which it heals itself. And when we're in a utilization mode, that is part of the healing process. So we have to be patient when we get to this point of draining the tanks and know that our body is going to do what it needs to do first. Oftentimes the utilization of the aesthetic fat is what's the last priority for your body because it's trying to save your life first, right? It has all these other mechanisms it needs to go through and reset before you're going to get to what we find as the most discomfort for our liking, right? So we have to put this into the utilization mode consistently over time to utilize what we have as problems for us as we age, especially, and then we can get to what we want visually on the exterior part of our body to happen. This happens through metabolism, or what is also known as metabolic flexibility, and it happens through movement, aka exercise, right? So we want to create a metabolic opportunity for our body through keeping insulin low. And then we want to almost force the utilization of insulin through exercise. And I'll talk about that in a second. So how do we get these tanks to actually drain out? So we need to open up the storage tanks, right? We need to have an opportunity for everything that's being pushed down and causing us so many problems to be able to rise up and filter and become an energy source for us. We do this by keeping insulin low. We can do this by nutritional means. We can do this by fasting. We can do this by exercise, right? So we need to know how long our body needs to fast in order to get through what is causing us the problem. So the over storage problem. We need to consider what we as the individual woman want and or need to do with our nutrition so that we don't continue to add to the storage. And then we need to determine what we are willing to do as women, movement wise, right, in order to tap into the stored energy. And I say long enough here because it is different for every woman. It all depends on where you're starting from, what your life is like, what you enjoy in your life, and what you're willing to do consistently and long enough over time for you to reap the benefit. So this is not a quick fix. It takes time for your body to actually drain the tanks. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a series of steps that has to take place over time. So, how long should you fast in order to be able to drain the tanks? Again, it all depends on you as the woman, right? Fasting is the opportunity we have to not create an insulin response. So we know when insulin is high, we're storing. When insulin is low, we're utilizing. So every time you put something into your body that creates an insulin response, you just repeated or restarted the storage process. And it takes at least 13 hours for your body to benefit from fasting and start to drain the tanks. Every hour or so past this 13 hours is added drainage opportunity. It's an added opportunity for you to keep insulin low so you can utilize what's in storage. Anything over 20 hours, I always say, is a personality thing. If you feel like you're the type of person who loves being in a fast state and you find comfort in that, fasting for more than 20 hours is your jam. I have been able to lose weight, control body fat, reverse diabetes, all the things that were ailing me in my late 40s. Now I'm in my mid 50s. I don't suffer from anymore because I consistently fast for 20 hours. This is where you can get the best results from draining the tanks, as well as utilizing that body fat and living a normal life. You can live a very normal life fasting 20 hours a day and reap all of the benefits. Okay. So, if you're in a fasted state, we know that that's the best opportunity to drain the tanks because we're keeping insulin low. We're not creating new storage opportunities. We can also do it through exercise, right? So, how do we exercise and drain the tanks? Well, if your insulin is at bay, you haven't created new opportunities, you're already going to be in that state of drainage. Then you can exercise at a low intensity because we need oxygen in our body while exercising to be able to utilize fat as an energy source, aka aerobic type exercise. Think back to the 80s, right? We were all doing aerobic type exercise and we were checking our heart rate to make sure we were in fat burning zone. All of those things work. What we need to understand as aging women is that low intensity is our best friend. And if we participate in low intensity, so like what I would say is be about 80% or less of your maximum heart rate. If you don't know what that is, just Google maximum heart rate and figure out training zones. What I like to say is working out in a zone 2, because you can do that for a longer duration of time, 30, 45, 60 minutes, and you're not going to put extra stress on your body. This can be walking, this can be jogging, this could be swimming, this could be tennis, this could be walking your dog. You just have to make sure you're aware of what exercise intensity you're at so that you can also tap into the stored glycogen you have in your body and have energy available to get through the exercise session. We also, again, want to do that in a fasted state. Why a fasted state? Because if you're exercising in a fasted state, you're not creating a new insulin response. So you're not having to exercise away that latest exercise insulin response, and you can tap into what you already have in storage. And I'm going to talk about that right here. So here's nutrition, and here's how our body utilizes the decisions we make about food. We have to get through our last meal first. So what I like to teach here in this community is um, feasting so that you can fast. What a lot of people like to teach with weight loss in general, or even with intermittent fasting, is the concept of I have fasted, therefore I can eat whatever I want. We know that that is just not true. You cannot eat whatever you want. We have to understand that we have to base our nutritional choices based on what it is we say that we really want for ourselves, right? Because we know that there are differences in the value of nutrition based on the choices that we're making, and those are going to serve us in different ways. So your body's going to utilize your last meal first. So when you are in a state of draining the tanks and you are incorporating your feasting window, right? So you have so many hours in the day that you're going to feast because you're controlling those insulin responses. Then when you have your last feast, that's when you start the clock for your next fast, right? Your body has to get through this first before it could ever get into what's in your storage tanks, aka your glycogen stores, right? So what you eat matters, because however long it takes your body to process this last meal will determine how many hours you're going to be in a state of utilization from what's in backup before you can ever tap into what you have in your fat stores. Because as long as your glycogen stores are full, as long as those storage tanks are full, you're never going to get to fat stores. So it goes last meal, glycogen stores, fat utilization. Most people live within the last meal and the glycogen stores, and they don't ever create the opportunity to tap into the fat, which is what we have as the biggest problem for menopausal women, right? It's the biggest complaint we have is, why can't I lose my belly fat? It's probably because you're starting your day with an insulin response. And then 2 hours later, you're creating an insulin response. And then 2 hours later, you're creating an insulin response. And it's very, very subtle. It is as subtle as putting something in your coffee in the morning. It's as subtle as taking that one little bite of something when you walk through the kitchen. That little bit of subtle response that your body has from a decision that you're making without thinking about the chemical and hormonal process that's going on in your body is keeping you in a fat storage mode, simply because you're not tapping into what you already have in storage with glycogen. So think about your meal tonight. How quickly do you want your body to utilize that source of food energy? How quickly do you want your body to process that, so that when you're done feasting and you're sleeping and you start your morning, how efficient are you going to create an opportunity for you to tap into what you have in storage, so that you can get through some storage and then start chipping away at the fat stores? That is draining the tanks. You can do that through fasting, you can do that through nutrition, and you can do that through exercise. All three of those together is what I call the trifecta to aging successfully. You can do them all very minimally, and you could reap some amazing results. Here's where we get tripped up. We start talking about things like macro managing and calorie counting and worrying about whether we should be having XYZ seed cycling experiences, and you should be having this supplement and doing this therapy. You don't have to do any of that. Your body is intelligent enough that if you create the environment for it, it will do the work. You just have to move out of the way and understand the basic hormones at play. Insulin is the hormone for so many of us women that is out of balance because of time and hormonal changes going on in our body. When insulin is out of control, it's usually when estrogen levels are dropping. There's a direct connection. We know that. We can fix that, right? Ghrelin is another one of those things. We have been trained as women that as soon as our stomach growls or as soon as we feel hunger, we need to eat so that our body doesn't store fat, or so we don't crash our metabolism. We now know that that is not true. The best thing we can do to amp up our metabolism is create a calorie deficit. We don't create calorie deficits by counting calories. We create a calorie deficit by tapping into glycogen stores. When you can tap into your glycogen stores, your body's going to pull calories out of storage, use them for energies, and automatically boost your metabolic burn rate. So it is super simple to do. You have to understand the concept, and then you have to understand that hungry is a state of power for your body. It's not a state of weakness. As long as you're fasting correctly, you're feasting with nutrient dense foods, so you're supporting your nutritional requirements, and you're moving your body to keep everything in flow. If you can do those three things consistently over time, I promise you the belly fat will shed away. It will just start melting away off of your body. It's when we make things complicated, it's when we're trying to tweak the system. It's when we're trying to trick our body that our body says, no, 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 no. I'm going to hoard this body fat because you don't trust that I know what to do. Trust your body. It knows what to do. You will be able to shed all of the things and reverse a lot of the signs of aging that a lot of us are so unhappy with. But we have to simplify it. We can't keep complicating it. Don't follow a diet. Don't count calories. Don't worry about macros. Find comfort in hunger. When you can find comfort in hunger in a fasted state, when you can utilize energy stores through longer duration, lower intensity exercises, and when your concept of feasting is based on how you want your next fast to go, it's like magic and it's clockwork, and you just rinse and repeat it. Okay, so sorry for that funky start. That's happened twice to me now. I don't know what's going on with my live starts, but we'll get it figured out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let's see if I can answer some questions. Here is where I answer your questions live. I will give you live coaching. Ask away. I will answer anything that I can for you here. Let's see. Shauna, good morning, Diane. December 2020 grad. So glad to be live with you. Yeah, I'm super glad to be live with you too. Hopefully, most of you are on a day off today. I know it's a holiday here for us. So hopefully, you guys are enjoying your holiday. Catherine, hello. Bridget, hello. Miranda, hello. Vanessa, hello from Morocco. Love being able to be with you all. Girlfriend, we love you being here with us as well. Shauna Matson, good morning, girlfriend. Monica, I can hear you now. No Facebook. Good morning. Okay, awesome. Yeah, it was my earbuds wouldn't connect, so sorry about that. Hello, good to have you, Linda. Hello, hello, hello. No questions, no questions, no questions. Good morning. What should we eat? Okay, so Mary, this is that question that I always kind of refer back to you as the individual woman. You should eat the food that allows you to look and feel your best. This is a saying we have here in our community, right? Every woman should wake up every day looking and feeling her best and living her most authentic life. So I can't tell you what to eat. We need to just go back to the basics of nutrition and really common sense, right? So we know that processed food is not the most nutrient dense. It's very high in calories and it doesn't have the best like caloric breakdown. We know that, vegetables, lean meats, grains, those type of things are the best option. We've always known that. So nutrition hasn't really changed over the years. It's just that our life has gotten complicated and we want things to be really convenient, really fast, and really simple, right? And what we have to do is go back to the basics. So, Mary, what I always ask is that what do you have available in your local area that makes sense for you nutritionally? We do know now that we want to get naturally occurring fat in our diet. Our body needs fat, right? But it has to be good quality fat. So, from food in its natural state. We also know that for a lot of us, the protein advice that we have been getting has been completely off base, and that we are eating too much protein. Too much protein in your body that your body can't utilize is overeating. Overeating results in storage. Storage results in us not being happy with our body. So I would say just let protein naturally occur in your day. And then carbohydrates are what I refer to as a thing that has to be very consciously in your decision making process. Like you have to just be conscious about it, right? A lot of times with carbohydrates, we eat them mindlessly. We eat carbohydrates when we're stressed. We eat carbohydrates when we're busy. We eat carbohydrates like on a quick go kind of thing. And then we don't think about how they add up at the end of the day. So carbohydrates should be very conscious, right? Lots of vegetables, Maybe a little bit of fruit if your body can handle it. Grains, legumes, rice, like those kind of things are not bad. I eat potatoes all the time. I have no weight issues. So, what we have to do is, like, again, go back to common sense. What makes you happy? What works for your family so you don't have to eat differently than them? And then just rinse and repeat those things. Your body will adjust if you're fasting correctly for sure. Um, Mina, hello from Iran. Good to have you with us. Chrissy, good morning. Leela, good morning. Amy, good morning. Janice, water intake. Okay, so here's what I recommend for water. And again, water is one of those things that we really feel uncomfortable about. And it's just because it's a habit that we have not adapted yet. I recommend 100 to 150 ounces of mineralized water. So, mineralized or spring water, you can buy water with them in it, you can add it to your water. Magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium are the 4 electrolytes that we should have in our body, especially when we're draining the tanks, because those are going to help us feel energized, they're going to help us feel satiated, and they're going to keep our nutrients up. Magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium. Sodium in the form of pure salt, not sodium in the form of processed food. Sodium is something we need as well. So try to get your water intake up. Oftentimes, if we're hungry or fatigued and we are draining the tanks, it's because we have enough minerals or water in our system. Drink some water, you'll feel fine. I like to start my day with sparkling water because the bubbles help my hunger hormones feel like there's something going on in my stomach, and they make me feel balanced out. I teach all of that in class, and I have plenty of videos on that as well. What's a good last meal, Bridget? I don't know. Again, that's that thing, like, how's your life? If I said a good last meal is, a piece of steak, a baked potato, and some green beans, and you're like, but my life is busy, I can't do that, then you're going to feel like you won't find success. So, what I recommend is playing around with your feasting window. Implement the fasting aspect first. When you get comfortable with the fasting, the feasting becomes so much easier because your body will tell you if you're making a decision that's not working for you. It'll let you know because you won't feel good, right? So I always say play with the feasting window once you get that fasting window down. I do recommend 20 hours of fasting. I don't believe in beginner fasting. I say if you're unhappy, jump in. Give your body the best opportunity to take advantage of what fasting can do for you, and you'll reap the benefits so much quicker. Again, I teach all of that in my class that I teach right here online. I teach it. It's a 30-day class, 1 week of you practicing intermittent fasting at the 20-hour window. Then we do a week of practicing intermittent feasting with informed choices based on what your body's telling you. And then we talk about the social and emotional aspects of living a lifestyle that people think is crazy, and how do you adapt to that so you can find success. So if you're interested in jumping into class with us, we start the first Saturday of November. I walk you through all this. I hold your hand through it. I guide you through it, and I help you find success. So I'd love to see you guys in class. Sandra, thanks, Diane from the UK. Girlfriend, it's so good to have you. I booked an appointment to get my hormone levels tested. Is that something an almost 50-year-old woman should or shouldn't do? I'm assuming the only answer they will give me is HRT. Okay, so when I went to my doctor to get my hormone levels tested, she spared me the agony of hormone testing, and she's just like, if you're feeling out of balance, you're out of balance, right? That is also the time that I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic. Again, remember, our hormones are always ebbing and flowing with one another. So the chances that my estrogen, progesterone, testosterone were all out of balance was pretty good, right? Because my other hormones were out of balance. My primary concern was my insulin, because I didn't want to go deeper into the diabetic state that my body was already heading in. So the only hormone I was concerned about was insulin. Once I got my insulin resistance and my diabetic state under control, everything else started to feel better. So remember, things are going to be out of whack. You can confirm that through hormone testing, and your doctor will most likely suggest HRT. But HRT is not the solution to the problem most of us are having. It's just going to appease some of the discomfort. But from a lot of women in this community, they have big regrets about going on HRT to get rid of something like belly fat, because the solution to the belly fat problem is not putting hormones in your body. And then what happens when you're putting hormones in your body that your body can't process, then you end up with a bigger problem than belly fat. So just be well informed if you go that route, is what I always recommend. Um, let's see. Catherine, do ghrelin levels lessen as your body adjusts to fasting? I would say yes and no. Ghrelin isn't something that's a bad thing. It's just a sign that your body is sending you that something's going on. I find absolute comfort in a state of hungry when I'm fasting. Here's why. If I'm fasting correctly, meaning a clean fast, I'm not creating new insulin responses, and my stomach growls, I just created an opportunity to drain the tanks, meaning that my body is going to know that I'm not going to give it anything if I just let my growling stomach do its thing. And it's going to tap into my glycogen stores and find stored calories to consume. And that's again where that metabolic rate increases, right? So growling stomachs or growling ghrelin just means that you're creating an opportunity for your body to find its own food sources off your storage, aka your belly fat, aka all of the problems that you're having with a backed up body as an aging woman. So ghrelin is a place that growling ghrelin is a sign that I absolutely love. It fires me up. It just means that I am about to start tapping into some of that fat storage and glycogen storage that's causing problems. And I just write it out. And before you know it, your ghrelin will get fed off of your body and it'll quiet itself down. Michelle, how do you know if your body can't handle fruit? Okay, so fruit is just sugar with a bunch of, other nutrients in it, right? Because I don't want to get into the fruit argument with people here. Fruit was one of my biggest problems because I have a sugar metabolism problem. I've had it my entire life. I was hypoglycemic as a little girl. I ended up becoming insulin resistant. I did have infertility issues. And then I ended up a diabetic. So I can't break down and process or metabolize sugar well, also known as fruit. So when I was going through my get rid of belly fat phase and draining the takes phase and reversing insulin problems that I had, I gave up fruit altogether, and it really did help expedite the process. Now I just eat fruit in a different way because I broke that habit of having X amount of servings of fruit a day. That is not necessary. For me, I just broke my habit with sugar, and I broke that kind of the love affair I had with it and realized I didn't need it as much as I needed to. And when you start reaping the benefits of getting rid of that extra sugar, then you just break the relationship and you just have a new relationship with things like fruit. So your body will adjust. You will get enough of everything that you need. Trust me, most of the fruit and vegetables and all the things we have in our food chain today is not as nutrient dense as we once thought. So you'll be fine. You can do with a little bit less fruit, and once you start reaping those benefits, trust me, you'll understand where fruit is that thing that could be causing you some of those problems as well. Patsy, very timely information. Currently on a 14-hour fast. Just finished a 30-minute interval walk, sprint up hills. Not hungry. I probably won't eat for a few hours. This is a doable lifestyle. Thanks. Yeah, Patsy, I'm in the same place. I actually woke up in fat burning mode. I did a 30-minute run on my treadmill. I will fast. I think I started fasting last night about 8 o'clock. I'll probably fast till about 3 or 4 o'clock today. I'll drink my little water. I'll have my coffee, and I will just be energized throughout my day. I've been doing this for 6 years now. I absolutely love fasting. And so once you get that comfort level and you understand that your body's going to not suffer from being in a fasted state or not suffer from draining the tanks and tapping into that storage, trust me, it is the best place to live. Amy, good morning from Indiana. Do you say that you have one day a week you don't fast, and can you explain why this is beneficial? For me, it's not a beneficial thing. It's just a family thing. So now that I'm really confident with my fasting and my feasting, and I understand what's going on with my metabolism, I'm not trying to reverse anything. I have reset my body. I'm very, very flexible with what I can do because I don't have anything that I don't have any belly fat I'm trying to lose. I don't have any sugar related things I'm trying to reverse. I'm very happy at 55. So sometimes we'll have brunch as a family, and we have a late night Saturday night dinner. So if I have a late night Saturday night dinner and I have a brunch with my family, I'm not getting that 13 hours of really even tapping into a fasted state. And oftentimes what I do is I finish my feasting early on a Sunday and I fast longer into Monday. So when you're confident and comfortable with fasting, and you've created that trust environment with you and the relationship you have with your body, you can jump in and out of fasting very, very easily. You can go on vacation and not fast and come back and drain the tanks from vacation. It's a very, very simple way to live, but you have to be confident and comfortable with it emotionally and mentally for you to reap the physical results. The mental and emotional aspect of fasting and what you can and can't do is what trips up everyone. So get it straight up here first, then practice the fasting to where you're starting to get the confidence and you're seeing the results, and then you'll be able to jump in and out. You won't fall off the wagon, you won't throw in a towel, you won't self-sabotage, you won't have any of that guilt associated with not fasting because you know you can jump in anytime. So it's not from the benefit of what I'm getting from my fasting, it's just that I like to live my life pretty fluidly. So hopefully that helps you there. Miranda, doctor won't test hormone levels, said she treats symptoms. That's a good doctor for sure. Um, but just make sure that you understand that treating symptoms doesn't have to be with something you fill at a pharmacy. Treating symptoms can really be just what you decide to do on your own. So always do your research. I always say always do your research before filling any prescriptions that aren't life-threatening. If it's a convenience prescription, I promise you could do it on your own for sure. Jenny, how do I get past hunger, headaches to continue fasting window? You have to, you have to how do I say this without freaking anybody out? You have to fast long enough to detox, right? So everything you do has a detox. If you're trying to give up coffee, you detox. If you try to give up sugar, you detox. If you try to give up flour, you detox. So you're just going through the detox phase. And oftentimes what happens, and this is why I teach a course on this, is you get uncomfortable, and being uncomfortable creates fear. And then fear creates like this sense of you have to do something, and we can't get through the discomfort to get to the other side. So what I recommend is drink your water, have your coffee, get your body to the point where it knows how to tap into storage so that you can get through the headache phase. You're just detoxing. You're detoxing from the food addiction your body has because you're constantly keeping it in the high insulin level. Once you get those insulin levels under control, you won't have headaches anymore. You will absolutely thrive. We have a saying here in our community called the energized sense of calm. And the energized sense of calm is when you are floating through your day with no food needed. You have so much energy. Your brain is clear. You have like all this mental energy and physical energy, and you're just powering through your day, and you have no thought of food at all. That's when you're in a deep fasted state. That's when your body's tapping into all the problems that you're unhappy with as the human aspect of who you are, and your body's going to chemically and hormonally reset everything. So you have to just kind of get through that fasted state and know it's just part of the detox process. And you'll be on the other side before you know it. Catherine, you are so welcome. Michelle, okay, you're welcome. Let's see. Ria, I think it is. Intermittent fasting has made me a bit more sensitive with thyroid balance, and it seems to relate a lot to what I eat after I break a fast. Yeah, for sure. So remember, when your body's um, in a fasted state and you are causing it to work really hard at finding the stored energy, and then you break your fast with something that doesn't serve where your body's at chemically and hormonally, it's going to send you a sign and signal that that didn't work. This is what I love about intermittent fasting. It is going to teach you so much about your body if you stay conscious and you pay attention to what those signs and signals are. Intermittent fasting really did help me understand why and how gluten is such a problem for me, despite the fact that I'm not celiac, and that all the things that my body responds to, and the reactions that I have when I consume gluten, they don't match any textbook that a doctor would study to tell me, if gluten was a problem for me. It's my body's way of telling me it, and it's changed over the course of the last 6 years. It's how I figured out soy was like a poison in my body. When so many people say soy is a great source of vegan protein, it was killing me. Dairy in so many different forms was such a problem for me, but I didn't have all the medical standards for those things being problems for me. It was my body that was communicating to me, and being in a fasted state really does take all of the things away and put you in a new, like I say, resetted state. So everything that you do that doesn't work has a heightened response, right? And if you're paying attention and you're retracing your steps, you can find out that there's some very, very innocent things in your life that are reaping big problems for you. And once you figure those things out, then you can get rid of them and then you can live your life very freely. And what I always recommend with nutrition is if one kind of thing in a food group is bothering you, just find an alternative to that one thing. There's so many options today for food. You just got to play with it till you find what's going to work for you for sure. And then Sarah, is black coffee okay during a fast? Yeah, black coffee is excellent during a fast for sure. Black coffee is the thing that's going to help you feel satiated. It's going to give you a little boost of energy depending on the quality of coffee that you're drinking. Polyphenols are great for us as well. So I have coffee every day. The one thing that I do always caution women on when it comes to coffee is, especially in the beginning when you start really tapping into a lot of that storage and you have that abundance of energy from your body being really good at utilizing the body fat that we're not happy with and all the things that are backed up in our system, is you'll have so much energy that coffee might be too much. So you'll wake up energized and ready to start your day. No caffeine needed. So a lot of times women just use a little bit of coffee just as that appetite kind of not suppressant, but like just satiates you or makes your body feel like you have something in your stomach. And so it can be used for that as well. But if you find that you're getting all the benefits from fasting, and you have so much energy at the end of the day, despite the fact that you're not eating all day and you can't sleep well, I always say give coffee a little bit of a pass for a week or two and then let your body balance back out and then add it back in. The thing with intermittent fasting, once you really get good at it and you really get good at tapping away at the belly fat that you're so unhappy with, the belly fat becomes your source of energy and you'll have so much energy you won't know what to do with it. Where so many women today are eating all day long and they're feeling fatigued and tired and sleepless nights and insomnia and all of those things. Those are the end result of just your body being out of balance. You get your body back in balance and you'll be feeling great. I had an amazing 8 hours of sleep last night. I tracked my sleep with my Aura ring. I got like a 92 score. I got deep sleep. I got REM sleep. I got the whole kick and caboodle. I woke up this morning in fat burning mode. I've already ran for 30 minutes. I'm going to go drink my water, my coffee, and just have an amazing day. And food isn't going to be one of the things that I have to worry about today. So fasting is absolutely amazing. Like I said, I do run a course. You guys, the link's at the bottom here scrolling. You can email me. You can leave me a comment. You can reach out to me via email. I would love to have you, join us for our next course. The course takes all of this and it breaks it down to you in a very step-by-step process while you're actually going through the lowering of the insulin, tapping into your stores, figuring out how to break your fast, tapping into the energized sense of calm. I walk you through the detox process so it isn't scary for you and you understand why your body's going through all these changes. It is an absolutely amazing course. So many amazing women have already gone through it. And I would love to have you go through. If you feel like you're suffering, there is no reason to suffer through menopause. If you're suffering through menopause, it is a lifestyle thing that's going on that's not meshing with your body's changes. You should be thriving through menopause. You should not be gaining weight. You should not be losing your cognitive abilities. You should not feel depressed. You should not feel fatigued. You should not feel any of those things. If you're feeling those things, it's just because you're off. We just got to get you back on. Norma, I've tried low acid coffee and regular coffee doesn't work for me. Yeah, so coffee is another one of those things that your body has to be able to metabolize it. If you can't metabolize coffee, there is no reason you should be forcing that. That's a sign and signal that your body's trying to tell you that it's just not working for you, and it doesn't work for everyone. I personally have no issues with coffee, and so I absolutely love it and use it as a tool to help me with what I'm trying to do. Tracy, good morning, girlfriend. Thanks for jumping on. New to fasting, heard of it, but would like to try. Please help. I believe I'm perimenopausal. Girlfriend, get on my email list. Just go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com. You can go to DYANNParhamFitness@gmail.com. You can private message me on Facebook. I'm here to help you. You should not be suffering. Fasting is it's free. It's super easy. It's super convenient because you're not chasing food down. You're not living your life in your kitchen. You're actually going to have everything that you need to go out and live a very full life absent of food. You don't have to do it in extremes. We practice intermittent fasting here. So you fast and you feast every single day. We just do it in a controlled way so that we can reap the benefits. I hope this helps you. This is draining the tanks. Um, like as simply as I can as put it, you're draining your tanks, like figuratively. You're draining your tanks like hormonally, you're draining your tanks chemically, and you're just going to reset your body. Once you get your tanks drained, believe it or not, you'll be able to live the way you did when when your tanks weren't overflowed, and you can ebb and flow your way through your fasting lifestyle for sure. Mel, I'm not going through menopause, but still need to understand my body. I'm only 40, but have a lot of belly fat. It's an insulin issue, Mel, for sure. And we all go through it as women. So and like I said, I was hypoglycemic, I was insulin resistant, I became a diabetic. That's exactly how it goes. This whole time I was hypoglycemic and insulin resistant and entered into the world of diabetes. I was also a health and wellness coach. I knew how to eat clean. I knew how to exercise. I know about good nutrition. I knew all the things. It's just that I wasn't going with the flow of my body's chemistry, and I wasn't adapting to the hormonal changes, and I ended up like every other woman. It was when I started listening to my body and applying everything I knew about nutrition and everything I knew about exercise to my body where it was today with the changes. That's when I started reaping the benefits. So it's not a you problem, it's a chemistry problem, and it's a hormonal problem, and we can get that fixed for sure. Tracy, you are super welcome. Again, thanks for being here. How long to intermittent fasting as a 46-year-old woman? I teach 20 hours. I teach 20 hours until you reap the benefits you're hoping for, and then I teach you how to ebb and flow your way through it. So I always say, if you're frustrated, don't delay the success you could have. If you're frustrated, don't prolong your agony. I don't believe in beginner fasting. Now, if you are on medication or you are controlling something through a prescription, it's always advised to talk to your doctor, because prescriptions control problems in our body and fasting fixes problems in our body. And oftentimes you'll get the double positive, right? And so your medicine's controlling what your body is fixing, and you have to talk to your doctor so that you can control your medication so that you can continue to reap the benefits of fasting. So that's really the only time you need to be very aware of how long you're fasting and what you're doing, because you're also doing something to control your body. I talk about this all in class. I cannot be here on Thursday. My daughter has a cross country meet, so I won't be here Thursday live. Please make sure you're on my email list. You can go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com to jump into my email. That's where I keep you guys posted on everything we have going on in our community. I will give you guys videos that I think you should watch to keep your head in the game of fasting. Your body wants this. Your body needs this. This is very natural for your body. Your brain and outside influences are going to keep you from reaping the benefits you deserve. We have to go back to thinking for ourselves, practicing, implementing, and then tweaking as we go for sure. So trust me, everyone should be able to benefit from this. I was 43 when tested and confirmed perimenopause, and have been trying to find a new balance into my body. Still have a bit of work stress that seems to add to the symptoms. Yeah, stress is one of those things that, it's part of our metabolic process, right? We think metabolism is, controlling calories and calories in and calories out. Metabolism is sleep, it's stress, it's hormones, it's food, it's exercise, it's a restful mind. Like, all of those things affect our metabolism and will affect how your body responds and reacts to storing and utilizing as well. So we need to manage all those areas for sure. Miranda, you are super welcome. Okay, so I gotta run. Thanks for jumping in with me. Again, I'm sorry that it started off funky, but you got here. That's the big thing. This will be stored on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. I love coaching you guys live. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for asking your questions. Thanks for contributing to the conversation. Your comment, I'm sure, helped another woman. And that's our mission and my purpose here with all the information that I share for you guys is that we need to help as many women heal their bodies as naturally as possible so that we can age successfully. We have grandkids we want to spend time with. We have retirement plans we want to be able to live out. We want to have the energy and the mental fortitude and the confidence to be able to live out the next 50 plus years of our life. And we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves in the process. Okay, really quick, I'll answer this one because I know this comes up a lot. Jamie, you're going to get this. You just jumped into our November intermittent fasting class. So I will teach this to you in class, but you do not have to count macros unless you are specifically trying to get to a certain place. Right. So I don't teach macro counting. I don't count macros. But if you're going to go, join a physique competition where someone's going to judge your body, macro counting might benefit you. If you're just the everyday woman that wants to benefit from of what fasting can do for you, then you don't have to count macros. You just have to eat intuitively and just use common sense. But I teach you that in class. So hang out and we'll get you in class for sure. What's your Facebook page? My Facebook page is Diane Parham. So DYANN PARHAM Fitness FITNESS. If you Google me, you'll find everywhere I hang out. So you can go over there. And then my Instagram is fortoday'sagingwoman.com. All my social sites can be found on my YouTube channel. And all my social sites can be found on my Facebook page, or you can get on my email list and I'll let you know where you can connect with me there. Just go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to get out of here. I said that like 5 minutes ago, but you guys keep talking to me and I love it. I love you guys. I love your questions. I love your comments. Trust the process. It is very simple. Don't let someone lead you down a path that could cause more problems for you and frustration and make you feel like the end of the world is menopause. Trust me, it's not. It's the beginning for a lot of us. We're free of kids, they're grown adults, or they're off doing their own thing. Husbands are happy doing their things. It's our time to look and feel our best, and we need to make sure we're doing it in our most authentic way. And intermittent fasting just happens to be that thing that is common sense, super easy to do, and every woman can benefit from it. And I'm here to help you guys with that. Thanks, you guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys around probably next Monday because I won't be here Thursday on my email list. I'll keep you guys posted. And then I'll see you guys on Tuesday tomorrow at 1 p.m. I go live on my Instagram page too. So if you're on Instagram, just look for me there.